Why do our mothers make more sense the older we get? Today, we're talking about how movies capture the slow, surprising shift from frustration to understanding. When you're younger, you might have come to a point where you saw your mother as the villain, not because she's malicious, but because she's the obstacle between you and who you're convinced you're meant to become. She nags you about college applications. She embarrasses you in public. She doesn't understand your music, your dreams, your absolute certainty that you're suffocating in suburbia. In Lady Bird, Christine McPherson is so desperate to escape Sacramento that she literally renames herself, rejecting the identity her mother gave her. Marion, Christine's mother, is sharp-tongued and critical, forever reminding her daughter that she's wasting her potential or making stupid choices. To 17-year-old Lady Bird, her mother's words feel like weapons, but there's a moment, brief and almost unspoken, when everything shifts. By the time Christine arrives at college and introduces herself by her real name instead of the alias she gave herself, she's calling her mother to apologize. She's leaving voicemails full of love and gratitude. The rebellion dissolved, not because Marion changed, but because Christine finally understood what all that pushing actually meant. This is the particular pain of growing up, realizing that the people who seem to be holding us back were actually just trying to steady us. Cinema has become extraordinarily good at capturing this reckoning, the moment when daughters look back and understand that their mothers were people all along, not obstacles, not antagonists, just women doing the best they could, often under impossible circumstances. Many of these films build their entire emotional architecture on misunderstanding. In Everything Everywhere All at Once, Evelyn Wang doesn't know how to love her daughter Joy in a way that Joy can feel. She's so consumed by her own regrets and inadequacies that she mistakes pressure for motivation and criticism for care. She's horrified when Joy is honest about her sexuality, not because she doesn't accept it in theory, but because it represents another way her daughter has become incomprehensible to her. The film's genius is that it doesn't ask us to excuse Evelyn's coldness. Instead, it forces us to witness it, to understand how deeply rooted it is in her own trauma and disappointment. Only when Evelyn travels through the multiverse, seeing all the versions of her life she might have lived, does she finally locate joy, not as a failure or a disappointment, but as a human being suffering under the weight of being unseen. Some films don't grant us the luxury of reconciliation, which is sometimes more honest than resolution. The Joy Luck Club hinges on the revelation that the mothers and daughters have been failing to understand each other across an entire ocean of cultural difference and unspoken sacrifice. The mothers came to America with nothing, enduring humiliation and heartbreak so their daughters could have opportunity. Their daughters, meanwhile, read this devotion as suffocation, as an inability to let them become themselves. What the film does so carefully is show that both things are true. Watching your mother in a film and recognizing for the first time that she was a person separate from her role as your mother, this is a distinct species of emotional pain. It's the feeling of seeing someone you've known your entire life and realizing you've never actually looked at them. Brave captures this through the metaphor of transformation. Merida and her mother, Queen Eleanor, seem irreconcilably opposed. The rebellious daughter wants freedom. The rigid mother insists on duty and lineage. But when Eleanor is literally transformed into a bear, Merida is forced to see her not as a disappointment, but as her own person, flawed and struggling and trying her hardest even when she's failing. The magic in the film comes not from spells or enchantments, but from the moment both women understand that they've been equally trapped by expectations, just in different ways. What these films all understand is that being loved and being understood are not the same thing. A mother can devote her entire life to her daughter's survival and still never make her daughter feel truly seen. Stepmom doesn't shy away from this cruelty. Susan Sarandon's character spends the film believing that Barbara, Julia Roberts, is a threat to her motherhood, a replacement who can never genuinely care for her children. Only when Sarandon's character is dying does she accept that love comes in different shapes, that there's room for multiple mothers, and that understanding each other requires accepting that neither of them is the villain in the other's story. It's not redemptive so much as it is honest. Sometimes the thing that separates us from understanding is pride. Because I said so and Mamma Mia, take a gentler approach, suggesting that mothers are not monolithic figures of authority or restriction, but actual women with interior lives, desires, and histories that have nothing to do with being mothers. Watching your mother reclaim her own sexuality, her own choices, her own needs, this is its own kind of growing up. The hardest part of understanding your mother later later is knowing you can't return to the early years and apologize in real time. You can't go back to 17 and see Marion McPherson as a person terrified of losing her daughter. You can't explain to your mother that you understand now why she couldn't let go. You can only move forward, armed with this new knowledge, and hope it's not too late to treat her with the tenderness you wish you'd shown her before you understood. These films don't offer easy answers about mothers and daughters. What they offer instead is recognition. The recognition that every mother is a woman with her own failures and fears, and every daughter is a girl who didn't understand what those failures and fears actually meant. The reconciliation, when it comes, is not a return to innocence. It's an invitation to maturity, the understanding that loving someone isn't about pretending they never hurt you. It's about finally seeing them clearly and choosing to love them anyway, not despite what you've survived together, but because of it. This is Ladies First, watching women in movies. Here, we empower women by reviewing and discussing films that highlight their stories, struggles, and achievements. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments.